In today's Photoshop lesson, we want to learn the basics of the new Content-Aware Fill. Content-Aware Fill is used to remove unwanted objects in your photo. With the new Content-Aware Fill, we can restrict Photoshop to fill areas using only the parts of the photo we tell it to use. In the old version, it just took its best guess of what part of the photo to fill with. So now we have some control of how Content-Aware Fill works. Let's take this photo right here and see what we can do with Content-Aware Fill. Let's say, for instance, we wanted to get rid of this sign right here. That bugged us or something, and we want to get rid of it. The way we normally do it, we just get a marquee tool. I'm going to attach the letter M. I tap the M key, and now I'm going to draw a box around that sign. Now, if you remember, well, let me show you this. If we go to Edit, I'm up over here, Edit, and we scroll down to Fill. That's the first one. See the other one's Content-Aware Fill? There's Fill, and one of the choices in here is Content-Aware, along with foreground, background, Content-Aware, pattern, history. And if we just click Content-Aware, color adaptation checked, we'll click OK. Let's see how it did. Well, it looked pretty good. That's the old version. Control D gets rid of the ants, the marching ants. Okay, let's say we want to get rid of this exit sign. So let me zoom in a little bit on this. There's the exit sign. I'm going to get the marquee tool again. I'll draw a box around the exit sign. And let's say we want to get rid of the exit sign. Okay. Now, if we use the same one, it was Edit. This is the old one, remember. Where am I going? Content-Aware. Now we're going to go to Fill. Content-Aware. We'll say OK. Well, it did OK, but if we look close, it's not perfect. It still has something in there. So let's undo that. Let's use the new version. Edit, and there it is here. Content-Aware Fill. Click on that. Now, we got a whole new thing going on. We have some choices to start with. We have two screens. There's a screen over here on the left, and there's another screen on the right, separated by this line right down the middle. We actually have a toolbox, and in the toolbox we have a brush tool, we have a lasso tool, a hand tool, and a zoom tool. Same, we're used to how those all work. And up above here we have the plus and the minus. Now I'll show you what that does in just a second, because let me get the hand tool. I'm just going to hold the space bar down, move this over. See this green area? The green area means that's the part that we're telling Photoshop it's okay to sample from. In other words, you can sample from the door and this sign and the wall, well, that trim, whatever it is. But that's really not what we wanted to sample from, because this is just up here, this ceiling wall, top of the wall. So with the brush, and if you notice, it has a little minus on it. Let me see if I can see the minus on the brush. That means that we can erase all the stuff that we don't want it to sample from. We're telling Photoshop, hey, just sample from the stuff that I paint green. I don't want it to sample from this, so I'm going to erase that too. Now, as we do this, if we look over here, you can see how it's doing. And in this case, it fixed it up fine, because now we've told it, don't sample from the wall or the door, just this area over here in the green. Now, if we want to, we can go up and hit the plus. We could even paint some more. Oh, yeah, it's okay to sample from this. That's about the right color. If we look over here, we can see how it looks. So now we have control of Content-Aware. And let me show you what a few of these things do over here. This says Show Sample Area. So if I click on that, you can see the green, and it comes and goes. Sampling options, in other words, you can see it, first of all, you can see how bright or opacity of that sample area. 50% is about right. Green is a good color, but if you want, you can change it to any other color. And then if you want, you can actually, let me close that up. You can have the reverse the sampling area or excluded area. I think the sampling area works best for me. I'll leave it there. And then we got the fill settings, color adaptation. We have a couple choices: default, high, very high. What I found here is if I just click on one and I look over here, and if it looks any better, then I know I can try it, or I could go to very high. But in this case, default I think worked just fine. It blended in pretty good. Let me just try none. Nope, none has a little edge around it, so default's good. Rotation, adaptation, same thing. If you can rotate it and it looks better, that brought in some color, so none look good there, but you can try those. And then scale, this gives you a clue. Scale allows content resizing for a better match. Good for filling content with repeating patterns or different sizes under perspective. So you can see in this case, the scaling worked good on that sign. And then you can click on mirror, and mirror comes in handy. If you notice, we have a teddy bear with one eye. And now if we can mirror the other eye over there, you get a better result. So mirror kind of lets it flip around and get a better result. So you might try that if it comes in handy. And then the final is the output setting. We can output to the current layer, which means it's just going to fix the one layer you have. You can make a new layer with just the repair area, or you can duplicate the layer. So I think on this one I'm going to go with duplicate layer. So that way we can see it before and after. So I'll say OK. And then we'll look at our image here. There's our image. Now hit Control D. And our exit sign's gone and the sign on the wall is gone. Let's try the sign on the door. That should be tricky. Let's see how it works. I'm going to get the marquee tool. I'll draw a box around this sign. Something like that. I'll go to Edit. Now we're going to go to the new one, Content to Where Fill. Comes up with all the choices. And you can see what it did without us telling it. It almost took that sign out. It just about got it. Let's see if we can improve it. I'm going to hold the hand tool, the space bar to get the hand tool. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to click Z for zoom. Zoom in a little bit here. Now, really the only part we really want to do is another window to try to patch this up. So we'll get the brush. I'll tap B for brush. It's on the negative. I'm going to hit the right bracket, make it a little bigger. It's a little bigger. Now we don't need this part of the door. I don't think we need any of this part of the door. How are we doing over here? Same. We really need the crossbar. Let me add a little more. Oh, wrong way. Control Z. Now if you hold the Alt key down, that changes the brush to the opposite. Okay, that made it worse. Let's take out this part. That made it worse. Let's see if anything over here can help us. Would it do any good to mirror or scale? I'm looking here. We're having trouble with the crossbar. So let's take out this and that. Oh, we're almost there. I'll hold the Alt key down. There, pretty close. Scale help. About the same. Mirror, did that help? Oh, mirror helped a lot. You see how that filled it in right here? So let's say OK. Control D. Yeah, didn't do a perfect job, but I don't think you'll notice them too far away. And we could have played with it a little bit longer. Let's try one more photo and see how it does. Oh, here we have two dancers. Let's say we wanted just one. What should we get rid of first? Let's get rid of this light. Okay, so I'll get the lasso tool. Better yet, let's get rid of, oops, let's get rid of all this. We'll try to make that all black. So I'll go Edit, Content Aware Fill. Now, see how it did. It did like, okay, it's got the right idea, but it's not filled in right. So let's erase all of the dancer here. We don't want to use any of this. Probably don't want to use any of that. So we can't use any of that. There's some ceiling stuff up here. We don't want that. We definitely don't want this dancer. So by painting with the negative, see the negative up here, painting with the negative right there, I'm actually telling Photoshop, hey, don't use this area. Don't use that area. And then I'm looking over here to see how it's doing. Oh, we don't want it to use this area either. That's this area down here. And I'm looking and see how it's doing. And if we want to, we can redefine this. I'm going to get the lasso tool, and it's got the plus next to it, so I know this is going to add on. So I'm telling it, hey, while you're filling black in, why don't you add this to your selection, and this too. And I'm looking over here and see how it's doing. By the way, look down here. You'll see a triangle and this spinning. When you see the triangle, that's a low resolution. It hasn't really finished, and the spinning means it's working. So if you see that, it's not quite done. Hey, it did pretty good. So what if we say okay? Let's see, duplicate layer. Yeah, we'll stick on that. We'll say okay, and let's see how it does and get rid of this other dancer. So I'm going to just draw a box around this with the lasso tool, like that. We're going to go to Edit, the new Content Aware Fill, and let's see, what are we looking at? Okay, I'm looking at here, and look, we didn't do anything, and it did a pretty good job of filling that in. So we'll take it. So we'll say okay. And it should take that out. Here it goes. You can see it's working, and it's gone. I'll hit Control D, and so it's gone. So that gives you an idea about the Content Aware Fill. Let me show you one more thing. Let's say we wanted to remove just this little top, which you can hardly see. I'll just draw a box around it. We'll go to Edit, Content Aware Fill. And on the Content Aware Fill, we wanted this to go away, but it didn't go away at all. So we'll have to block this out. We don't want to use any of this. Let's see how it does now. You can see down here it's working. You know, I'm not sure I selected that. No, I didn't get the selection, so we're going to have to get the lasso tool. Add that to the selection. Now let's see if it goes away. There it goes. So we're good. Now, one thing I didn't show you was the lasso tool has a feather. And, you know, it wouldn't hurt to feather that a little bit. Let's just put 2 in there. 2 pixels. And that makes the edge just a little softer. We did fine without it, but that gives you a little softer edge. And if, by the way, if you're doing this, you can expand. You can see I'm just clicking the expand, or you can contract if that's any help to you too. And it tells you how much by 3 pixels. Okay, so remember, the green is the area that it's going to use to fill. In this case, all black. We don't want it to fill with this person. Okay, so we now have control. And over here, I think I went through all these to explain it. So anyway, I hope that was some help. I appreciate you watching. Hope you learned something.